You know, sometimes people will call it tough love, but love really isn't tough, it's just tough on the ego. You know, the ego is a belief system in fear and guilt, and as I was saying several nights ago, the ego has this feeling that there's something above it, but it doesn't know what that something is, because the ego and love don't have any meeting point. So it's very threatened by this thing that it feels is hovering above it, that it believes wants to destroy it, wants to kill it, wants to dissolve it away. And in one sense we could say that's the only thing the ego got right. There does seem to be something in its perspective above it, and it's this major dismantling that's going on, and the things that start to happen in your life, the things that seem to start to fall away, that start to just, you know, fall down all around you, all the crazy, bizarre things that seem to be like, how could that possibly happen? It was going so good until... and then. There's no private thoughts. There are no secrets. Every defense mechanism, every lie, every self-deception is going to get exposed sooner or later. So the real thing comes in starting to say, maybe I'd like it to be sooner rather than later. If I gotta go through the darkness to the light, okay, let's get going. People have said, oh David, don't say that. You never make a prayer to the Holy Spirit that goes like this. Bring it on! People have said, I tried that once with the Holy Spirit, and never again, I will never say those words again to the Holy Spirit. But actually, if you got to go through the darkness to the light to get to the healing, then, you know, what's the problem? You know, really, it's always this glorious awakening going on, but it's just that the ego keeps interpreting the awakening in very negative terms. We talked about that the other night. When it seems like you lose, you win. When it seems like your life is ripping apart at the seams, that's really one of the most glorious times. You know, in retrospect, you could watch the view of the film and go, "Ooh, that was a beautiful opening," but at the time it seemed like devastation, pure devastation. It was just the ego's interpretation of the events. The ego's interpretation of its self-concept getting dismantled is not pretty. It's kind of ugly at times. But the more you gain insight on what's going on, then you start to get that more of that high, relaxed perspective, like, oh, this is actually all for the good, everything that's occurring in my life. And if I could just suspend judgment, if I could just for a moment stop and say, maybe I don't know what's in my own best interest in this circumstance, in this situation, maybe there's some higher perspective. With a little curiosity. Show me. I'd like to be shown. There's some workbook lessons in A Course in Miracles where one of them is, I do not perceive my own best interest. That's a workbook lesson. I do not perceive my own best interest. It comes in different forms. I do not know what anything is for. My meaningless thoughts are showing me a meaningless world. He puts a lot of different variations. But then, shortly after that lesson, I do not perceive my own best interest, he slips in a very short sentence. And when you get one of these short sentences from Jesus, it's a real zinger. He just kind of slides it in there. And the sentence goes like this: everything is for your own best interest. Everything. It's a very short sentence. But if you start to open your mind to it, you can start to see that there's great comfort in that. If the script is written and everything is my own best interest, that means that there must be another way of looking at anything that's going on that I'm interpreting in my life. There must be a higher perspective. Even when I seem to be in the darkest of dark, or the biggest of tragedies, the deepest of disappointments, that there's actually another way of looking at it. There's another way of not taking it personally, of seeing it from a unified perspective. I was just talking about this on the mainland of Spain, and I was saying, there's no difference between a walk on a sunny day and a bomb exploding. And somebody said, can you tell me how those two events are the same? And I said, yeah, that's why I'm here. That's what we're going to explore. That's not the same in human perspective, but we can't be content with that, with staying there.